Welcome back to Straight Talk with Billy Kay. In our last session, we had Ron Tucker, the founder of the Beaufort Film Festival, and as I introduced that segment, it was that we talk about tourism in Beaufort, but there's a lot more than just going to the beach or playing golf or playing tennis or coming to festivals in the park. There's I call them the festivals of culture, the festival of the word. With Ron, I called it the performing word, and in this case, with Short Story America, it's the red word, the written and the red word. Tim, you're the founder of Short Story America, so why don't you tell us a little bit about it, and then we'll talk a little bit about the festival, then we'll talk a little bit about how people might get involved in the movement.
Well, I'm happy to report that in January we'll be celebrating the 3rd anniversary of Short Story America. We began in January of 2010 strictly as a website that published new short stories, one new story per week. I've been writing short stories for about 12 years. I've been reading short stories since I was 5. The Pink Dolphin is a short story.
That's right.
We all start with short stories, and I believe that we should all be kids for the rest of our lives. I'm a big believer in stories that can be read in one sitting. Same reason I like movies and TV shows. And I think a lot more is conveyed to readers, and especially to thinking, intelligent readers, in one sitting than in any other format. And so I started Short Story America because I believe in the tradition of short literature. And I really believe that even though great short stories are still being written, they're awfully hard to find nowadays. Generally speaking, you have to subscribe to 30 or 40 magazines to occasionally find the good ones, and it shouldn't be that way. So the vision for Short Story America was to create an avenue for people to know, all right, here's a reliable source for short fiction. Wherever I live in the world, I can get at it and enjoy it for free if I want. Or I can get a book from Short Story America. Our Volume 2 just came out at the time of our festival last month. Billy, it was such an honor to have you there to greet all the authors who visited.
It was fun for me because I greeted people from as far away as Oregon, Vermont, all over the mid-Atlantic states, right. As well as local writers. And I think that what I want many people to understand that these are people who are going to like Beaufort. We know that. If they like short stories, if they like films, if they like certain cultural things, and part of my mission as mayor, of course, is to make sure that we remain environmentally, culturally, and fiscally sustainable. So that what I like about the written word, or the read word, or the performed word, or the acted word, is that we're really enriching the lives of those who live here, but also creating something that's going to bring like-minded people to our community.
When something like this is coming in and going out, there's a reciprocity to that it feels like a natural for Beaufort and the writers who come into town every year from Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, San Antonio, you mentioned Portland, Oregon. These people are now out there talking not just about short stories and Short Story America. I knew that they would, but I was also confident that all of these authors of short fiction would fall in love with this town and the Low Country. We moved here from Atlanta in 2004, my family and I, and we haven't looked back. We go back to Atlanta for a Braves game once in a while, but living here it's the best experience that I've had in my life. And we're raising our children here. I already have had several authors tell me that in going back to where they live with their spouses, that they and their spouses are talking about, well, do we always have to live in Buffalo? James Gortel, who was here from Buffalo and gave 2 very popular workshops, they're already talking that way. This town is a natural for literature.
I know of the ones that the visitors I spoke with, every one of them said they would be back next year.
They will all be back.
This was the first?
This was the first. This was the inaugural. I'm happy to report that the 2nd annual Short Story America Festival and Conference will be next year, September 26th through 29th. We're adding a day. We're going to 4 days. A lot of people asked for that, which is a good sign, because there wasn't enough time for all of the workshops and readings that people want to do. So we'll do more.
We know about the readings, but if I'm a writer and I live in Okatee and I'd like someone to critique my work or learn more about it, tell us a little bit about the workshops, about what.
Those were wildly popular, more so than I actually expected. I did not know that we have so many people living, say, within a 45-minute drive of Beaufort who either already write short fiction and want to get better. And what better chance than to get to visit with a facilitator who is a top-flight published short story writer who's in town. Or people who've always thought that they have stories in them. I fell in love with writing short stories, like I said, when I was a kid. Majored in English at Davidson College, loved short stories. Always thought, wow, I think I have some in me. I didn't write one until I was in my late 30s. Now I've been writing them for a dozen years. But believing in yourself as a writer sometimes means being around other people who do it and learning from someone who's done it a lot. And so all of the workshops that we had at USCB and at Short Story America, which is in Beaufort Town Center, were packed. And that's a good sign about the creative soul of the Low Country.
Tell us a little bit, because we might be able to help you sell a few books.
Sure.
I didn't think to ask you to bring them, but tell us about the anthologies that you've just...
Volume 1, which has 56 short stories in it by writers around the country and around the world. There are 5 of the 56 stories are by foreign writers. Has been out for a little over a year, and it has done very well, especially in terms of critical acclaim. The reviews have been phenomenal, which doesn't surprise me, not because I'm the editor or I have some of my own stories in it, but because the quality throughout this eclectic collection is so good. Volume 2 has just come out. It debuted at the festival, and on November 16th at the gallery on Bay Street, the evening of November 16th, we are having the formal launch party for Volume 2. And every one of your viewers is invited. That's at the gallery, Deanna Bodish's business on Bay Street, for the launch party for Volume 2.
What time is that?
That will start at 7 o'clock.
Deanna can give a good party, and
well, she can.
So I'm going to invite you all to Deanna's party, which is the launch for the second volume of...
She sells our books there, and the thing about people who love the arts is when I have gone in to sign books in the gallery, people walk in and they're looking at art. They're not planning to buy a book. And suddenly they stumble upon this guy who writes short stories sitting at this little table near the front door. And they say, oh, I love short stories, but I don't think I've read one in 8 or 10 years. The last one I read was The Lottery by Shirley Jackson, something like that. And you get to talking. And you find, wow, these people visiting from New Jersey, they're visiting the galleries, and now they know there's a publishing house in Beaufort. We're producing audio right now. Our first audio CD of short stories is being made in Beaufort. I'm involving only local people in the production of our audio stories, and the first one is going to be available in time for the holidays. And all of the recordings are being done by Beaufort-based people, and the producers of the audio are Beaufort-based people. And the audio will be sold here and will ship out by us to wherever people want to hear good stories, but they're being produced in Beaufort. I think Beaufort is a great, great potential home for intellectual property, for creative property. It's a natural.
That's terrific. We've got Tim Johnston, who's the founder of Short Story America. We just finished the first annual. It's annual because they've already scheduled for next fall, the second annual. But if you want to learn more, Tim, how do they get in touch with you?
Several ways. First of all, our website is shortstoryamerica.com. You can go there to find all of our contemporary stories, a classics library with over 400 stories in it. All of our contact information is there. You can also write to me at tim@shortstoryamerica.com anytime. I love to communicate back and forth with readers and writers.
Or you could come and meet Tim and buy Volume 1 and or Volume 2 of the anthology at the reception at the gallery on Bay Street in Beaufort on November 16th at 7 p.m.
Several authors will be there to sign the book. I'll be signing it, as will most likely Warren Schlesinger, Gail Westerfield, Catherine Tandy Brown. Among the now nearly 100 different authors, 4 authors in the series live right here.
Thank you for joining us with on the show, Tim.
Well, thank you very much,
Short
Billy.
Story America.
Appreciate it.
For those of you who would like to stay in touch, my website is mayorbilly.com, www.mayorbilly.com. And if you'd like to ask questions or get in touch with Tim and you didn't get his contact information, or you got anything to share with me, you can email me at billy@mayorbilly.com. Thanks for joining us.